Good evening, everybody. This is Chad Millard, and this is my case study. Case study is going to take place at George Washington Middle School. That's a school about 450 students. It's in an old residential area, and then most of the community works at a textile mill. The school has been showing a decrease in student population, and then the family's socioeconomics have been on decline as well. But even through all of that, has a very strong community support. The principal at the school is Mr. Stevens. He is a principal there, and he relies a lot on volunteer help, and that's kind of where this case study goes to. What has happened is, quick run through of it is that a parent has a child that did really well in gym or cheerleading, and had an opportunity to go to New York. And that parent wanted Mr. Stevens to get the PTA to pay for that child. Mr. Stevens declined. And then the next time that those two encountered each other was at a basketball game where that parent was a volunteer. After the basketball game, Mr. Stevens went through and checked the ticket stubs with the money that was brought in and realized it was $50 missing. So that is where this case study is going to, is what happened to that $50 and the procedures that I would take as a principal in that situation. So category 1 is, what do I know? I know that Mr. Stevens relies a lot on his volunteers. He says that he doesn't have a assistant principal, so volunteers is kind of where he gets the help and support, especially like events and things of that nature. Volunteers collect and count proceeds for the PTA fundraiser. Obviously, the PTA is very extremely involved in the community. When it comes to games of such a nature, he usually has a group of 4. 2 people would run the concessions, while another 2 handle the tickets at the gate and everything. I know about Ms. Bowman. She has a daughter named Lucy, that's the youngest one. Very talented in cheerleading, and has an opportunity to go to New York City to, compete in New York City, and she is wanting the PTA to pay for Lucy's trip. After the basketball game, we have $50 that are missing after the game. That is what I know. A little bit about what I need to know. So let's move that. What I need to know. I need to know who the other volunteers were. It's been kind of portrayed that it's been Miss Bowman, and even though it looks that way, you can't always just blame one person without information. So we need to know who the other volunteers were. I also need to know, like most schools, I believe, and any schools that I've ever been around, is the security cameras. We have security cameras everywhere in our schools, in my district, and we need to know if the security cameras were able to catch anything or anyone, or it can also help us find out where that missing money might be. I need to know what procedures are in place when money does not balance out. So what do we do when that happens? That's usually a district-wide thing, and you kind of need to know, it probably varies on how much the money is missing. $50 is not a whole lot, so it probably has a little bit more procedures than if you say 500 to 1,000 or whatever is missing. And we need to know what happened to that money. Let's put me back up there. Sorry, that was in the way. My plan of action. So what I first do is contact the district office, just tell them the situation that's been happening, kind of go through the run through with what happened with Ms. Bowman and how she was kind of the last person that turned in the money and the tickets to me that were missing, just to keep them in check. And then I would also go through my plan of what I would do or what I'm going to do in this situation, just to have that support. And it's always nice to have your hierarchy kind of saying, okay, this is what we need to do, these are steps you need to take, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. You need to have backing from the district. I would also go check those videos. I know it hasn't said anything. I'm assuming there's videos. I don't see how any school nowadays doesn't have security cameras up, especially in the world we live in. I just do not see how there's no surveillance of that. And then hopefully we can kind of track down what happened to money, or maybe what happened to those tickets. I know she said that some were got destroyed, but where's those tickets to say that they were destroyed? I would then bring in everyone to talk, everyone that volunteered that night, and even without security information, if I do have video information or not, I need to go through the step process with each individual. What they do, who they see, kind of have that checks and balances thing where we're like, okay, you did this, you turned that in, and whatnot. So making sure that each person is counted for and what happened. And then if we were able to identify the person who took the money, then it would become to a private meeting with that person. I would then, with $50, tell them they're no longer to help the volunteer. Kind of go over them what our district procedures are, if there's going to be anything severe coming down through that, or whatnot. I would assume probably $50. We're not going to do anything like legal action wise, but we do need to talk and make sure that they're no longer allowed to be volunteer and to keep it between us. We do want to keep the community support, and we don't want to alienate people where they feel like they don't want to help us out anymore. So we do need to make sure that we have that handle that in person, and we go through the procedures as a district and as a school with them. And then I would also find a way to recognize Lucy. It's an amazing accomplishment for any small school. We have 450 students. To have one of our students have the opportunity, there needs to be some kind of recognition for her. To resolve the issues, meet with parent volunteers, review how funds should be used for the success of all students while possibly brainstorming ideas for opportunities to represent school. When I say that, I mean that when we have PTA money, that's to go as a whole. It should help the students or the school out, not just an individual person. But maybe we can figure out a way to help raise money for a team or an individual such as Lucy. Especially if there's like a booster club for cheerleading, that's one way to do it. Or have like, I don't know, care canes like we have going on right now because of the holiday, and maybe that money helps raise money to help at least pay some expenditures for her to have the opportunity. We do want our school represented, and that is a great way to have that. Establish clear procedures and enforce. They would be followed when parent volunteers are working concessions and door-to-door funds. We need to make sure that they understand what our procedures are, have that checks and balances, and maybe put some more people in there. Like, okay, this person needs to check, and then at the end of each time we do money, we all count that money together in front of me, and that way we have someone else. Maybe have the people two people at the door. Two people should be counting that money to kind of keeping track of where that money is going, and then they count it with me. And then review and verify all funds with parent volunteers prior to making deposit. So it kind of goes into what I said before. What was I thinking, feeling, and valuing? So what I was thinking, the principal has too much trust in parent volunteers. Needs more support in this area. I do think Miss Bowman comes out extremely suspicious, knowing that she turned into money. Oh, there's my dog. Knowing that she turns into money and the tickets and stuff does not match up. I do think that they need to consider probably hiring a person to help with these issues, because even though they're volunteers, you can't put full and total trust, especially when it comes to money. You just need to make sure you are keeping your checks and balances in order. I feel should have had Ms. Bowman count the money with him. I think that is a very easy way that the money can be tracked. Have both people count money. That way there is no switch of the hand going on right there. What I do value is their strong community in the school. How much that school backs that, or how much that community backs that school and is involved, is a very key thing to have a successful school. So we do need to make sure with whatever our resolution and all this stuff is to this, that we keep that strong community. But again, still needs leading to caution when it comes to volunteers and handling money. What issues are still unresolved or open to further investigation? As a principal, I'm trying to figure out what happened to the $50 and the damaged tickets. I would interview all the parent volunteers who handled the money that evening, check security cameras, and implement a new system for parent volunteers in collecting money. How do you, as a school leader, promote and affect efficient management of the management of the school or district? As a school leader, I would implement a checks and balances system with parent volunteers for handling money. Just like when it comes to anything inside a school, secretary has it, goes on from there, and before we kind of go through that, make sure all the money is being counted, and we have someone kind of checking in on each other. When it comes to volunteers, the exact same thing needs to happen. Also, make sure to communicate with volunteers upon arrival as they leave, while also providing them with clear and direct instructions and procedures for them to follow. As a leader, I would hold student and parent volunteers accountable for tasks they are assigned. Accountability is key, and I think that needs to be demonstrated as a leader, but make sure it's reinforced when I have anyone helping with any of our events. How do you as a school leader promote and social learning of every student? And as a school leader, I would take time to celebrate student and school successes. We have a very unique opportunity with Lucy, and that needs to be celebrated. We are proud of our students' achievement inside and out of school, after school curricular activities as well, and we should celebrate those situations. That helps build a good community, takes pride in the school, and it gives those individuals that recognition that they well deserve. I would also allow opportunities for students and teams to find creative ways to represent our school. That could be through booster clubs, fundraising, any type of situation to represent our school. If we have opportunity to go somewhere to demonstrate how great our school is, have the opportunity, such as New York City. As a leader, it is important to give credit to the people who are giving their time to help out the school. So giving credit to volunteers, even student groups that help. Those people do need to be recognized. How do you, as a school leader, promote student academic learning? As a school leader, I would have more student volunteers that would give them the real-world experience with handling transactions and monies. We come with a unique opportunity to have that, where they are learning to have transactions of money and funds, and have responsibilities as well. Those are good life skills to have, career skills to have, so we can use those opportunities. I would also have students involved in the process of developing step-by-step procedures that will allow for accountability of all parties. Having that kind of student body that kind of helps implement rules. Obviously, they'd be overlooked by me, but that also helps the school pride a little bit that the students have come up with these ideas. As a leader, I would also have student representatives meet with parent volunteers to incorporate social interactions with the community. By having community involvement groups that are student-led, getting our students out in there, it kind of puts that sense of pride not only in our school, but in the community and for parents and their students. When you see the community out there working along with our students, it helps develop a better school all around. That is the final slide of mine. Had a great semester. Hope you guys do well. Thank you.